You know, a rite of passage is the concept means that there are certain things that we want to do that help kids move from one place in their life to the next part, a major step in their journey. The Jews have been very strong in this. They usually use age 13 as a line of demarcation, bar mitzvahs, bath mitzvahs for their children, and they put some thought into that. Most cultures have these things built into them. But I think in evangelicalism, we have we have a chance to really leverage something wonderful if we are deliberate about that too. And so we, in our home, we used 3 times in their life as major rites of passage, and then a lot of little ones in between. Obviously, losing their first tooth, taking their first step, getting their training wheels taken off their bike, those are all major rites of passage because something new is on the other side. You're going to look at them a bit differently, but those are the normal things of starting kindergarten or grade school, grade 1 or whatever, it's a big one, going from different levels of elementary or to middle or high school. Those are all that. But the big ones for us, though, were 13, 16, and then when they finally launched out into, in our case, kids leaving the home to go to the college, or they might go to military to go out into independent living. 13, though, was, I thought, a critical one because what we did at 13 is we got very specific about saying we did what we called a rite of passage trip, and each child got to choose what they wanted to do. One wanted to visit, in the United States, there was a big conflict in the 1860s called the Civil War, and he loved history, and he wanted to visit Civil War battlefields. We had a daughter that wanted to, she loved dolphins, and so she wanted to swim with dolphins. So Darcy arranged to take her to a place where they spent several days doing that. Another one wanted to go on a cruise. So we would save up money in advance for this, and then the day would come, and they would go on a rite of passage. And the boys went with me, and the girls went with Darcy. But on this rite of passage, here was what it was about. Not only them doing something they really wanted to do, and they get to do it with their dad or mom, but this is where we did not introduce the whole discussion of sex and dating and all that stuff. We introduced that way earlier. I think most Christian parents wait too long. That, you know, on that discussion, you need to be first. You want to talk to them before Satan does. He wants to be first, and so you need to introduce that. So they were all very familiar with that. But now we started talking. Now you're getting up to the time where this is actually going to be activated. The hormones are kicking in. Pretty soon, you know, age 16, you're going to be able to single date, things like that. You're obviously going to start sparking around people. So we talked about that more, and we centered a lot of our focus on our discussion on that trip on that. But here's the key. We made it clear, when you come home from this, we're going to see you differently. We're no longer going to see you as a little boy or a little girl. We're going to see you as a young man or a young woman. And as such, we're going to give you more freedoms. Because you're not a little kid anymore, we're going to give you more freedoms. We're also going to give you more responsibility. That's the way it works. Freedom and responsibility have to work hand in hand. And so we came back and we viewed them differently. Now this really requires the high control, high management type of mothers and dads that back down and that want to make all these decisions. You don't tell them what they dress. You don't tell them what they take in school. You don't pick all their friends out. You don't solve all their problems. You don't fight all their fights for them. That's what adults are supposed to do. They need to learn this. And so we treated them differently. We gave them a lot more freedom, a lot more responsibility. 16, what we did on that is we had, you can make this as elaborate as you want. We didn't want to make it too complicated, but on 16, with the boys, I just had like 4 of my friends, either youth pastor and a couple of my buddies and my brother, their uncle, come over, and Darcy fixed a nice dinner for us. And then the guys just kind of went all around the table and said, look, when I was 16, here's the things that I was contending with. Here's the things, the lessons I wish I would have learned better. Here's the traps that were out there that I fell into. Just for your sake, just know they're coming, and you could do a lot better than I did. And then they shared that kind of stuff. And it was a lot of fun. And we talked about, all the sex, drugs, rock and roll, all those issues, the relationship with God, relationship with friends, and stuff like that. Then we prayed over them. We just went around and each prayed over them. It was a great time. But once again, we're saying you're on the launch pad now. We're getting you in place. And then the last part of it was the when we send them on into the future, we let them go and send them on. They're into adulthood. But it was all very deliberate, and that had specific things that we would do with it to make sure that we know, hey, this is a great time in your life, and we're going to see you differently on the other side.